All right, well, remember what I said about not going red-white. We opened 2 Armageddons. I feel like I've been seeing this happen a lot lately, and it's a little disturbing. But I'm not going to complain about it, especially since there's no other good cards for us here. Gitu Slinger is fine, but certainly not a card I want to first pick, whereas Armageddon is one that I'm more than happy to take. And I'm definitely going to take Ravages since, it's the sexier of the two. All right, second pick. I actually think that Hero of Blighthold might be a defensible choice. We don't have a lot of creatures yet. It works well with Skull Clamp, but Lightning Bolt is so flexible, and it means that we'll still have pretty easy mana. Considering we've got Searing Blaze, Sulfuric Vortex, I want to try and go as easy on the double white spells as I possibly can, which is one of the problems with drafting red-white aggro, is you end up with a lot of double white spells, a lot of double red spells, and there's not nearly enough plateaus to go around. So I'm going to take the Lightning Bolt. That might be wrong. I'm sure I'm just going to end up with Sacred Foundry, Plateau, and 3 fetches, but All right, well, I'm pretty happy to take the Solitary Trooper here. I would have had to take Manic Vandal otherwise, and that's not a card that I'm too excited about, whereas this is a fine 2-drop and ought to get the job done. Speaking of Sacred Foundry, but that is a Kargan Dragonlord. This is a tough choice. We're not that deep in white yet, and obviously you can just splash the Ravages off something a little easier, but I think Sacred Foundry is going to be pretty good, so I'm going to take it. I think Kargan Dragonlord is one of the best of the 2-drops. It probably is the best 2-drop. Oh, looky here. Well, that's a Shrine of Burning Rage. So at least red getting cut so hard going to the left means that no one else would dare to be in it. So we get nice little rewards like that. Shrine of Burning Rage is easily one of the best red cards in the entire cube. I'd say it's certainly top 5. Path to Exile is not a card that I'm excited to play in a red deck, but it'll probably make the cut. All right, Brimstone Volley is perfect. There was a Curse Scroll there, and I could definitely see taking that, but Brimstone Volley, 5 damage for 3 mana is just so efficient that it's a hard card to pass up, and hey, it even combos with Skull Clamp. That's a good enough reason, right? So cards that I'm still interested in picking up I still need more 1-drops. The Stormblood Berserker is going to be very bad if I don't find a few. And then just generally filling out the curve. We've got a lot of 1 and 2 mana spells, not a lot of 1 and 2 mana creatures. So we're just going to be looking for creatures to fill out the curve, and maybe a token maker of some kind. I'm not really sure if that would be necessary, but a Mog War Marshal goes pretty well with a Skull Clamp. All right. I think Flooded Strand and Battlefield Forge is pretty close, since Sacred Foundry is so much better than Battlefield Forge. But I think since I don't actually know how many planes I'm going to end up playing, I'd prefer to end up playing none. I think I'm going to take the Battlefield Forge. Volcanic Hammer is a fine card, but I think Mana Fixing is going to be a little bit more important. Alright, none of these cards are very exciting. Mentor of the Meek, Leonin Relic Warder, Fiend Hunter, these are all good white cards. But none of them are ones that I would be likely to main deck in a red deck. Skinrender is the worst card for us, or the worst card to play against. We'd be happy if they play Azorius Chancery. We have Rishadan Port already, Pillage, and I'm sure we'll pick something else up. I think I'm just going to take the Relic Warder. It's the most likely card for me to bring in. Ooh, Orim's Thunder. Yeah, that card's a pretty big game. It's really underappreciated. It's one of the few disenchants that I feel happy main decking. You just get so much value, and it's such a blowout against even a deck like this. I mean, just imagine Aurum Sunder being played against us when we have Shrine of Burning Rage out, Sulfuric Vortex, Skull Clamp. Any of these cards just get destroyed by Aurum Sunder when you have a 1-drop out or anything. The card is really powerful, so I'm happy to hate it, and we may even board it in against, say, like a white deck with some Anthems. So Cloud Goat Ranger or Manic Vandal? I think... Well, I'm not very likely to start the Manic Vandal, considering they have Shrine of Burning Rage and Skull Clamp. But Cloud Goat Ranger might be a reasonable finisher. Usually you don't want 5 drops in a red deck, but in a Boros deck, it's a reasonable way to go. And I do have Skull Clamp, so, Skull Clamp pretty much justifies anything. If it has 1 toughness, go for it, right? Well, we would have gotten plenty of black 1-drops, that's for sure. But I think that ship has sailed. So the question is whether we're likely to play Hikori, which would be good in our deck, or if we want to hate Exalted Angel. I think Exalted Angel is fragile enough if you morph it, and expensive enough if you don't, that I'm alright with seeing if we can get there on Hikori. I really need more 1-drops. I'd pretty much take a 1-drop over anything at this point. We've only got 2, and that's nowhere near enough. We're even in 2 colors now, so it should be fairly easy to find some. Hopefully, even if there is someone on our right in red, they'll keep passing us things like Savannah Lions or whatever else. Yep, more black 1-drops. Well, this is the only card that even would get in the way, so who knows? It's still not too late to switch. Jeez, Blood Gift Demon. I'll take the Graven Cairns. And a 2-drop. Probably won't be playing that, but hey, you never know.